back here for the Major Qualifier. Is my microphone actually on? No, my microphone is on, I think.
I don't hear you.
I don't hear me either, actually. I have found this. Hello.
Good job.
Good job. Thank you very much. Welcome back. We just watched 4 Clovers versus Team Liquid, and I have to say I was expecting a bit of a more one-sided game after the first 4 Clovers performance that we saw, but that game was very enjoyable to watch, mostly because I just really like seeing Fat on his Queen of Pain.
Yeah, he plays it really well. I think 4 Clovers is really good, though. I mean, they're maybe not as good as some of the other teams in some ways, but they definitely have strengths here and there where they look like they're going to win. They win a lot of team fights, but they don't quite pull it off, and it may be drafting and maybe gameplay.
What do you think about that game, Odd?
I mean, it was crazy. That was actually a nice game to watch. It was like, what, 60-plus minutes? There were kills everywhere, buybacks everywhere. I really can't complain. And I think the biggest thing also was that game probably was a lot harder for Liquid than it needed to be. I mean, Fata did a great job. Drax did a great job. But Matumba Man probably could have farmed up his Battle Fury a bit earlier. I think he got ganked a couple of times in the river trying to help out. The Crippling Fear, especially with the Night Stalker, was, I think, what the biggest issue for him was. Is just he couldn't survive. He couldn't, he decided to fight instead of farm. Maybe he would have farmed that Battle Fury faster, would have taken care of those heroes quicker. I mean, it's hard to say now, especially. But they did a great job of just initiating on the side of 4 Clovers, finding great team fights, and essentially just playing methodical Dota and finding kills. It was good.
Yeah, we talked about before the game started that 4 Clovers had to do something fairly early. They had a bit of a run at you lineup, and they couldn't really run at Liquid at some point anymore. What did you think about what went wrong there for 4 Clovers, Lumi?
So I thought there was 2 very interesting things. First thing is most of the fight happened on the raiding side of the map.
Yeah.
And even though the fights ended up fairly evenly, whenever that Dire had advantage, they were hitting tier 2s, tier 1s. They always got chip damage. Whereas when the Radiant won team fights, they were like, well, let's farm a jungle camps or something. Like, never got anything beyond maybe some tier 1 damage. Second thing is that game really showed the weakness of Wind Ranger as a core. When she got off the Shackle shot, great. She could do a lot of stuff. When she didn't, then she wasn't really a hero. It didn't matter. She had a whole bunch of farm. There was a fight where she was isolated by Clockwork. She had to BKB, and then Clockwork's like, okay, you can hit me. I don't care. And that's the problem with that core. I mean, if you compare her as a true core as compared to like Anti-Mage, PL, they have the extra mobility and could chase down supports much easier. They're not completely reliant on a unreliable stun. So.
And not even just that, it's also a focus fire. It's a 15-second cooldown. Like when the Clockwork did catch him that one time, he had to pop BKB to defend himself, and he starts slowly attacking the Clockwork, and it does almost no damage.
Yeah.
And he also went for all these mobility items because he thought, oh, I've got a Slardar, I can maybe just go mobility, and then I can run my damage for the minus armor from Slar. But there was a lot of fights where I feel the Slar underperformed. He'd get picked off solo. I feel like he should have rushed BKB. As much as I like the armlet idea, like he needed to stay alive in fights so that Pycat could do damage, and because they didn't do that, because he didn't stay alive, the amp damage wasn't always there to make Pycat do a lot of damage.
I think the amp damage got dispelled a lot of times as well, right?
Yeah, I guess it can be.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing, too, also was that they didn't really have damage-dealing supports. Sure, they kept the Night Stalker alive forever with the Dazzle, the Shallow Grave, what have you, the Winter Wyvern using Cold Embrace. I guess you could argue that his Splinter Blasts were on point. He had a couple good ones, but there wasn't that much damage coming out from the supports, whereas Kuroki, later on in the game, he had stolen a ton of intelligence, obviously. They did a great job with Drax getting off full duration Fiend's Grips, good brain saps earlier on in the game. So I guess you could argue that the defensive support nature from 4 Clovers didn't really kind of, it didn't work well with what they had in terms of their run-at-you type of lineup.
Yeah, I think the difference I would have had was maybe either get the faster BKB on the Slardar, or Pycat needed to knock out Midas, and he needed to go straight into Ags, and then maybe a Blink, and then go damage items. But he also needed a Force Staff. It was just a hard game. There was like a lot of things that they had to do that put them into this weird place where they win the fights by amp damaging into a focus fire while their defensive supports keep them alive. And if it didn't go in that path, then they just lose fights.
So there's a lot of qualifiers going on at the same time right now. If you want to be kept up to date, make sure to get the Score Esports app so you can keep up to date with all the Dota scores of all the different qualifiers going on right now. Also, don't forget to check out facebook.com/ROG Nordic if you want to win a motherboard. Go there and type in what is your most valuable hero of these regional qualifiers, and also, of course, with the motivation why you think that is the most valuable hero of these qualifiers. And then on the 14th, we'll be deciding who actually won the ASUS motherboard, as well as a robot. There you go. But we are actually, we have the draft going on for the second game, and I really want to hear from you guys. What is going to happen, apart from that we already see 4 of the heroes for Team Liquid? What difference, like, what already do you see that is going to be making a difference for 4 Clovers right now?
Well, Razor, first of all, amazing hero against the run at you heroes. He welcomes the running. He's like, yeah, come at me.
Isn't the Shadow Fiend... Isn't 4 Clovers picking like almost the exact same heroes as Liquid previous game, the first 3?
I mean, Shadow Fiend Slardar is a good draft. Yeah, I guess they are kind of similar heroes, but it's a lot of the different same heroes in the metagame. Yeah. They don't have the best way. Their stuns are okay. They can kind of deal with Ember Spirit. They have lots of minus armor. Slardar and Shadow Fiend together are very good at that. And they have decent counter initiation against Tusk as well. So I think the draft looks okay for both teams right now, personally.
Yeah, I think the Rubik also is an effective way of, number one, making sure they don't get, you know, Fissure stolen. Obviously, Earthshaker against Rubik. Rubik's going to win that match just because he has Fissure that he could steal. And most importantly, you could steal Fiend's Grip, you could steal Brain Stab, you could steal Bane's whole kit. Pretty effective at countering him. Not to mention that he's got a bunch of other spells he can steal in this game, like Ice Shards, obviously. So this should be a Rubik stream. They do have that run-at-you type of lineup, but I like the Shadow Fiend more for that particular instance because you could say you can nuke from afar using the raises. You have the Requiem. You don't necessarily have to get up in someone's face and right-click and then have a Razor drain all your damage, but that is a possibility. You could go for that. And they also have the Slardar to set things up, too.
I think the most important thing for 4 Clovers is to understand when their lineup is strongest with these 4 pick, which is really around the 15-20 minute mark when you first pick up the mech. When the Shadow Fiend, you get a pick, and you just go into the Roshan pit, get the Aegis, and you just try to snowball off of that. You have a very good kind of tower sieging hero in the form of Shadow Fiend. You have him sit in the front line, just right-clicking things with SNY and mech. And if they should initiate on you, you have so much backup through the Fissure, the Blink Stun from Slardar. With that said, though, now Team Liquid making their team fight much stronger, also making their towers a little bit harder to push with the Lich. So I really like this final pick. Shores up their lanes, gives them good team fight.
Counteracts all the minus armor that 4 Clovers has.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like Slar has to get a fast BKB this game because there's just so many things that'll burst them down. And they grab... they're really just stealing the good heroes from the previous lineup.
Yeah. I mean, why fix what wasn't broken to begin with, right?
It's a good pick against Ember Spirit. It'll force him to get a Manta. That's one cool thing.
Well, the Silencer now allows maybe the BKB to be delayed, because when he goes in a stun, Global comes out.
Who do you think is going to win? It's the question.
I feel like Team Liquid's a better team, so I'm going to say 2-0, but it could definitely be a 1-1.
Gonna go with Team Liquid. I like the combination of Slaughter and Silencer.
I actually like the draft of 4CL a bit better, but I do think, like these guys said, Team Liquid was just the better team. I mean, it's just hard to compete with what they pulled off, with what Fata did, with what Drax did in the last game. So Team Liquid 2-0 in this particular series.
I fully agree, but I mean, since you all went for Team Liquid, I have to be the devil's advocate, so 4 Clovers, you can do it. Also, let's not forget that actually getting a 2-0 is majorly big for Liquid if they actually get it to get the 3 points on the board, because having a 1-1 is just a bit sad for the points. But we're going to find out what our commentators think. It is time for the second game. 4 Clovers taking on Team Liquid with Capitalist and Synderen.
It seems our analysts are a bunch of Team Liquid fanboys, Synderen, because 2 times in a row they're just like, oh, Team Liquid, Team Liquid, Team Liquid. I don't even like Shiver's response, who's like, I like Team Liquid, but I'll be for... Come on, you got to commit, Shiver. I'm down for CNL, the repeat performance. I like Slardar. I love the Slardar SF combination here. 60 Bambo and an Earthshaker is a legend. I'm down with 4CNL, but what do you think?
I think the Silencer is a really good last pick. I favor their draft this time around. So based on how close the last game was, where it was almost an hour-long game, was it? It was
yeah,
at
it was
least
just
very
shy of
long,
60
and the
minutes.
kills were really close. The farm was really close. The decision-making was very close between the 2 teams. So I think this time Silencer is going to give 4CNL an edge. And the analysts were talking about, okay, it forces Ember to get a Manta, which is great. I'm not sure if they mentioned how hard it counters Bane. Like, it's very difficult to get a grip off, and it also counters Tusk. Because there's a very weird and very counterintuitive interaction between Silencer and Tusk, and that is when you last word him and he goes into Snowball, he can't roll it because he's silenced inside the Snowball, so he can't activate it. The silence triggers before he goes into the invulnerability state, so it forces, whenever you last word Tusk, he either has to suffer through a really long silence or he can't cast Snowball at all.
Right.
Or rather, if he does cast the Snowball, you can just kite him. You just know where he's going to end up.
Yeah, you just bring everyone back, and you're like, he has to wait out the full duration. He's coming all the way back to us, boys.
And if he brought friends, they both arrive at a with long-range snowball, and then you're global. And they're just screwed. So I like this a lot from them. I think it can be very powerful.
Now, this is definitely going to be a rather arduous lane for PyCat dealing with the Razor. That's why Soxa is going to come over and try and help out. PyCat actually did get the one extra soul by killing the counter ward up there in the top lane, so he gets that very, very small advantage. But I actually want to talk
for denying a rune.
I bet you do.
You don't, right? It's not a unit. Does it count?
I don't know.
Asking the important questions.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, deny the bounty rune. Next level play, Synderen. I like it. You're thinking 2 patches ahead of us. That's what's happening. But I want to talk about the Lich Tusk lane. I feel like, for me, this is where Team Liquid could actually do so much. With the Tusk being able to pick up their early levels, he can actually make so much happen against many of these squishier heroes. Like, I feel like the supports won't be able to defend themselves oftentimes against the offlaner, and the SF is quite susceptible to Tusk as well.
Yeah, this is definitely a lane that Liquid should win, and that could transform very well with good rotations from Mind Control. I'm especially looking at the mid lane as a point he will want to contest. And in addition to that, maybe also being really good at disallowing 4CL from being able to stack their jungle. They do have 1 stack so far for the SF, though, so not too shabby for them. I do agree, though. This is the lane that Liquid on paper wins. I think on paper, the mid lane is Razor favored until Shadow Fiend reaches level 3 and 5, and then when he clears stacks, he's ahead. So the balance shifts. And
even if you do lose it, right, like that's what... Like, Soxa, he's going to be there to help out for the SF, but he's also going to be stacking, and there's always that fallback available. Mind Control will get the bounty rune, but he'll take a decent amount of damage in the process.
Still easily worth it.
Yeah.
And what we didn't, I'm not sure if we got that on camera, but in the mid lane, Soxa and Pyke had actually comboed earlier with all 3 raises, but it was level 1 raises. So they didn't really pressure the Razor that much. He was forced to salve, but that's it. Next time they do a combo like that, Fata has to go back to base, unless if he gets his bottle very soon. Or he's 2 CS away. But yeah, looking at the CS now, Pyke's actually pulling ahead. Not in total CS, but in actual income-worthy CS, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a very weird way of saying it.
Tusk just feeds himself to the Ancients for a quick trip back to base. Meanwhile, let's look at 60 Bambo. He's had a pretty boring time. He's versus a Bane as probably one of the best offlaners at zoning out, or one of the best supports at zoning out offlaners, simply because the potential kill power of, you know, that long duration nightmare. And then Matama Man can run forward, you get the chains, and maybe just run him down with that Flame Guard.
And it even has one of the highest move speeds for supports at 315 and one of the best base stats. Of course, Bane, the only hero in the game that has the same in every attribute by base scaling.
So he's right now 60 Bembo, just picks up his level 3. You compare that to the offlane for Team Liquid. They actually have level 3, almost level 4 on the Lich, and the Tusk being level 2. This obviously comes into play with the deny factor from the Lich, especially since you are now able to deny right in front of the enemy and you don't give away half of that experience.
It's very nice. It changes the dynamic of the hero quite a bit in lane, where previously you would always see Liches go back to get the next wave. It's just that extra efficiency that you don't waste 5 to 10 seconds every single time.
Right.
Nightmare.
Yeah, Fata probably just get a little bit of damage strain off of this, but nothing major. 31 damage stolen.
Denied. And now he needs to be careful, actually. Soxa looking for the left.
He's turning a little bit. The Rubik has actually backed himself up. They do have the support Lich on the side that they have to be careful of. And Pycat is going to be forced to blow his healing south.
Bambo's going to die now.
Yeah, then Invis. He's got the sleep, the chains, the brain sap. There's just not a good enough Fissure to stop this one, or at least I don't think so. Matubba Man, yeah, he's got the movement speed to be able to catch up to him. Actually, 360 for 360. The chains is still in range. Get him before the neutrals. Oh, he gets the right click, actually. The poor little golems. If it was anybody else but golems, maybe like a centaur, he might have died to that. Died to the neutrals, that is.
I think he would have, yeah. That was maybe a little sloppy from Liquid. I think they could have executed that better with their positioning, because they both got hit by the Fissure, and you can find an angle there where you don't both get clipped, or at least where you put Bam when it was positioned. But end of the day, they still get the kill, so not that important. It's going to be Treads minute 5 here for Matumba Man, so off to another good start on his Ember.
Rotation across. Mind Control actually trying to catch out. Now he does have a really good Ice Shards placement here against the Rubik, and might be able to kill him solo with a Snowball. Actually pops a healing salve, put him up on the cliff. Not quite working from that direction, but he will pick up the Razor, and they'll run down this Rubik quite easily. Rubik going for the stack, not going to be able to get there in time. Razor will pick up the kill, but they don't really have the power to clear through the stack. That should still be SS. Especially with support rotations coming in. EGM, he puts himself in a very precarious position, solo manning up the hill without Swift Ending's help.
He was feeling really certain that they were trying to steal the stack because it's such a valuable stack. It's like a quad stack, I think. So he was like, there's no way they're not doing this with a Razor. But they actually weren't. So they get themselves a free kill, but Pikehead gets the stack in turn, and that should even up the mid lane pretty much between the SF and Razor. Yeah, slight lead to SF now. In terms of raw net worth, last hits he's ahead by 13, but Fata, of course, has that kill. He's now getting a rune too. It's a regen. Probably not what he was hoping for.
Meanwhile, EGM will TP to the middle lane to refill the bottle of Pikehead, so they're kind of uneven terms in that regard. Full bottles on each side. Swift Ending is almost level 6. The problem's going to be with a silencer, they can't really go for kills that easily. If they had someone like the Rubik to make that kind of hard initiation against the Tusk, they could quite easily just chain stun him down.
Things are going to be slowing down a little bit here. Of course, Liquid ahead by 3 kills and a decent lead in Golden Experience now. And of course, Lich playing a big role in that regard as now Mind Control is going to be in trouble.
Silence is going to go off and slow him down even further. Swift Ending actually pops the sprint now and will be able to run him down with the next stun and a couple more right clicks. It seems like Mind Control will end up dying here. Give it away. That's extra intelligence. Oh, EGM! He commits for it and gets that 2 intelligence while Slardar gets the hell out of there. EGM trades his life, but forces some rotations and steals some intelligence away from that Tusk.
Yeah, both the Razor and the Ember showing up for that fight, and both of them showing up too late. A little bit faster on the TP reaction, you probably keep your Tusk alive there, but they weren't sure it was necessary, I think. And when they do show up, it is too late. And this opens up the bottom lane a lot, because now Bambo's like, oh great, Matoma is in the top lane. This Bane can't do anything to me alone. Sure, he can harass me a little bit, but I can farm, but guess who's down in that bottom lane?
Yeah, the Fisher goes out, kind of blocks out Jerix. 60 Bambo's going to run back to the tower because he does have EGM here. They're going to go for the kill onto Jerix, and they'll have it too. The power of the Bane and the Tusk, especially with Tusk lacking that level 6. He's unable to burst down Bambo. Top lane looks like they're going to try and catch out Swift Ending here. Unless Matoma Man, he dies to it! The last right click out from Curl will finish him up, but a 1-for-1 trade-off in what should have just been a kill on the Slardar outright is a big win for 4CNL.
Man, I can't believe he found that kill. Against those two heroes, he's going to be very satisfied with that. Of course, yes, Kuro gets the return kill, but it's one carry killing another carry to then get killed by a support will always favor the former.
Yeah, I mean, he gets that reliable gold before he dies. He gets the full experience, obviously.
Oh, Mind Control could be in trouble here. Arcane Boots in 5 for Bambo, but they've decided to change plans.
Vlad has taken over the enemy jungle, but really the SF has kind of already beat him to the punch. He's been in the dire jungle for quite some time, clearing through stacks with the help of the silencer.
And EGM is getting levels. This is very important. I talked about pregame how good the global silence is going to be, and it looks like EGM will be grabbing it around minute 10 to 11, so that's perfectly fine for him. Rubik, not so much, but...
Swift Ending, just making sure that there isn't going to be a change, but now he's put himself in a dangerous position. Matoma Man going to commit with a 3-time Remnant kill. And Fada on the front lines with all that extra damage he's stolen. The TP is in from Sexy Bambo. He does have his ultimate, but can't really get it just yet. He's going to go for Fada on the side. Pops it now. Jerix actually steeps alive with a sleep. And Pikehead, the Chain Frost bouncing her over back to EGM, will be able to get that kill. And they're also low on the side of Team Liquid, but the SF by himself can't possibly get that kill. But Rubik comes in, gets one. Can he get the other? He just doesn't have the range yet. And Kuro, he hides himself in the trees. And the Rubik, he's actually going to commit for it underneath the Tier 1 tower. Gets that double for him, but the rest of Team Liquid will now follow up. The most he can hope is just a Fate Bolt, but can't even do that much.
Yeah, it looks like Bambo wasn't completely sure about using the Echo Slam immediately when he TP'd in, and then he went for a Fissure instead. Understandable, because he could get a really good 2-man Fissure, and the Echo would have only hit like 1 or 2 heroes and quite a bunch of creeps. Just a little bit lacking on the performance. It looks like they're not 100% confident in their plays right now for CL and in their communication with what it is they're trying to do. A little bit out of sync, whereas Liquid are pushing the limits in every fight.
Yeah, and I think the treads is just so delayed for Swift Ending. You're going to have a rough time making that transition into the mid-game, especially if they catch him again. Looks like it's just going to be the Rubik. Global Sounds goes off. Toss back in. They'll be able to hit 2 with that one. A 3-man crush, and now Swift Ending, with the help of Pycat, they're going to be able to control. No, Jarex actually gets off the sleep in the brain sap, keeping himself alive long enough to help Matumba Man get himself away. Now Fada actually trapped in behind. He doesn't actually have a TP for another 20 seconds, so he should be dead, unless he could somehow juke his way out of this one. But no, he's been caught, slowed down by the silence, and finished off by the Fisher. Matumba Man, meanwhile, was actually trying to catch the Slardar. Will now commit for EGM. The rest of the team, again, trapped by this Fisher. They're going to go for EGM, and there's just no way out of the trees for 4CNL. Pycat comes forward now, but they're going to go back to getting the Slardar. They slowed him down, and 2 right clicks from Kuro is enough to be able to get the kill. Matumba Man does have that amplified damage, but 4CNL don't really have the fighting power anymore. The Fisher goes out, misses on Matumba Man, and Matumba Man will just run forward right into Pycat with help of the Snowball. They get that kill as well. Team Liquid literally just rolling over 4CNL now.
Man, they're taking so big advantage of the Ember Spirit's potential right now with just resetting, re-engaging. They're basically beating 4CL by just dragging out the fights long enough that they get like 6 slight chains off, and just a couple of good plays all around with, of course, the Razor dealing a lot of damage before he did die there, Fata. And the worst thing for 4CL, you pointed it out, they blocked themselves in twice with a Fissure.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate on, of course, the killing Fisher against Fata that they didn't find a path out, because then that would have been very, very different.
Team Liquid. You said it. They just keep on pushing the limits, and it seems like they're going to continue this with potential dive into the middle tower. There's no one there, though. So they will just take that tower bounty. Well, the rest of 4CNL, well, half of them are moving to the bottom lane to maybe try and push that out a bit, but I'm sure they're not actually going to get a trade-off. While Swift Ending is trying to farm the top lane for his Blink Dagger, but again, that's still a ways away. 1,200 gold, thanks to that last death. He is still... And Slaughter is not really a good farming hero. You're supposed to have it by around 13 to 15 minutes, depending on how many kills you're picking up, but this whole entire game has just looked so nasty for 4CNL.
Yeah, it's really not good. The Slardar Blink is the missing piece right now, and of course the mech on Shadow Fiend, which has been delayed a lot as well, and it might be delayed even further right now. Pycat could be in trouble. It's level 2 chain, or Slight rather. He's gonna die now. They have Chain Frost. He can't TP.
Rubik actually managed to pick up the kill in the bottom lane, but it's going to be Pycat who's finally caught by the Fiend's Grip. Unless Swift Ending, he managed to get... Oh, no, he didn't get it! The stun doesn't actually stop Jarex, and Pycat will die. Swift Ending will TP himself out. Sleep is not going to be there in time. They're going to go back to the bottom lane where Fada... never mind, 60 Bambo just doesn't really have anything left after that kill earlier on the Tusk. And now Fada's going to push forward, knowing that the Rubik is potentially caught by this one. Telekinesis forced back and slow out from the nuke of the Silencer might be able to buy the Rubik enough time to TP out successfully. Hides himself to the left-hand side of the trees and gets out, even with the rotation of Jarex.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he stole a spell he doesn't really want. Eye of the Storm sucks on Rubik. It requires you to commit into the fight. That's not where you want to be. He wanted to get Plasma Field, I think, but wasn't able to. That would have been a really good spell for him, on the other hand. Level 4 Plasma Field plus a Fate Bolt is a solid 600 damage nuke combination. But not so lucky this time around. And again, Liquid are just controlling the pace of the game pretty well, I think. They're ahead by almost 7,500 gold at this point, only 14 minutes in. And I think... I still stand by what I said. I think 4CNL's draft was really solid in this game, but the problems that they've had have been, yeah, Pycat's super dead in the top lane now. Matumba Man goes in.
Yep, easy pickoff.
The problem that they've had is that the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane, I think Rubik came in too late, and I'm saying that after he came in halfway through the first wave, but Razor already got the drain off, so that means Shadow Fiend does not get the head start in the lane. Sax is in trouble.
Oh, the Ice Shards doesn't actually block him out, but the Brain Sap, the combination nukes, is enough to be able to get the kill. They're going to look for more now. Global Sounds, TP out, EGM. Be successful in his endeavor to escape. But it's still 4CNL playing defensively with a lineup that really should be coming online by now.
Yeah. Shadow Fiend got slowed down too much by a couple of ganks, and he didn't get the very early help he needed from Rubik, in my opinion. He did get... maybe that's not fair to say, because we said he was going toe-to-toe with the Razor, but you generally, if you get help from Rubik early, you want to get ahead immediately. Like, he just secures you 2 or 3 or 4 CS, and then you win the lane automatically with Shadow Fiend. But that didn't happen. Then the Slargar really got slowed down as well. We're still looking at 15 minutes and no Blink Dagger. And the problem is, when he gets it now, it's great on paper, but there's so many counters to it. If he blinks in, he can get gripped, he can get nightmared. Slight Chains will always be able to catch him out. Even if he gets a good Crush, there's defensive Snowball and all of that. So they have to combine Crush with Global. Oh no, don't tell me he's dying again.
Walrus Punch isn't enough, but they do have Matumba Man who's coming in. And now the Chain Frost, that's going to be a nasty one. Swift Ending will tick down to the Chains. And the rest of the team from Team Liquid gets out, but they've shut down that Blink Dagger even further. There's still the Blink Dagger of the Earthshaker to worry about, but it's really the 2-man initiation that would have been able to provide openings for 4CNL. They're going to smoke up now behind Pycat, see if they can't bait him in. Jerix gets the sleep.
Oh, it looks like they might be working.
Yeah, TP rotations coming in, EGM. Fiend's Grip gets laid out. Sasha, they're going to be able to steal this one if they do it correctly. Fisher goes out. Fiend's Grip ready to go. Can they catch someone else? Fauna is still a dangerous hero to go up against. They get the 5-second stun. They get the global silence onto, or rather just a regular silence onto Mind Control as well. The nukes. Oh, it's enough to be able to get the kill on Fauna with the help of the telekinesis. Ice Shards in. Snowball, Pycat, he's gone. Locked inside though. Mind Control has nowhere to run to. And they're going to go for Kuro up next. He's got the amplified damage on him. Matumba Man, he's a dangerous man though with the enchant totem plus the amplified damage. It looks like that's just a bit too much for him to handle. And he'll run himself away. Swift Ending. Still hoping to catch up to Kuro, but he's got Tranquil Boots, plus he's a Lich. A naturally fast hero anyway, but this at least gets him his Blink Dagger finally for Swift Ending.
Yeah, that was pretty good for Clovers. I don't know if they can expect much more out of a play like that. The important thing is that they try to take initiative. They make a smoke bait, they make a play together, they catch Liquid by surprise and get something. It wasn't really a win, but it was the way the gold ended up flowing there probably favors them a slight bit, as like you said, they get the Blink Dagger now on Slargar. And that could amount to another kill, or even better, if they set it up very well, they could win a team fight. It looks like they're trying the exact same bait again, this time with Global and the Blink Dagger and Slargar.
There's no way it could happen twice, right? Team Liquid may fall. They may fall victim to that kind of mindset. They've got the Battle Fury though on the Ember Spirit.
Good warding too for it. Like this is a great setup, but the defensive warding from the Radiant also good. But they're smoked, and if they find this kill, it could be a Roche too. We haven't talked too much about Roshan, but Sardar Shadow Fiend, of course, really good at that. Var is super dead.
Yeah, chain stun down. It looks like Jerix, is he actually blocked in? He is. If they moved over and saw him, that would have been a secondary kill, and probably the confidence to do Roshan, as you said. Instead, they're going to go for the tier 1 tower and figure it out from there.
This is really good play under pressure by 4Clovers. A lot of other teams in this situation just crumble. They're like, oh, we're far behind. We have to play defensively and try to get our key items. They fight for the key items. And the moment they get just a little bit of space, they take big advantages, getting another kill, a tier 1 tower, and I'm imagining if they get the Roshan, it's almost a full-on comeback. And this is after disastrous early game. Like 7,500 gold lead at 15 minutes is massive.
Yeah, I mean,
for a team like Liquids.
That's essentially like half the lead of the Ember Spirit over all these heroes. Is the fact that he's able to get a Battle Fury before the 20-minute marker is really bad sign for CNL. But
he's so rich.
Third and final smoke for quite some time, I believe, for CNL. And this is going to be their Roshan smoke.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Sigil is there. It's got to wait out. Yeah. Someone remove that Lincolns, and they can amplify damage, take it down pretty quickly.
Did Last Word disarm Roche in the past? It did, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still a single target spell.
Not only slows, so not that good for taking Roche as he was in the past silencer. That would have been a 6-second disarm. That's actually really good. Killing the Roche, but doesn't matter, they got it.
Aegis, the initiation, Sexy Bambo being controlled is pretty important, but the global silence, and now they're trying around as they jump forward. 3-man crush once again from Swift Ending, and Fada, he gets taken out. Swift Ending got to get away from that Chain Frost. The combination of Walrus Punch with Rain Sap will take him out. You got to be careful though. Sexy Bambo is still ready to go with a potential Echo Slam. He's got the Blink Dagger up. It looks like they're going to look for Mind Control. He gets the Fissure, but Mind Control wants to try and snowball Sexy Bambo. Doesn't really see that opening though. If he'd just been a bit faster there and dodged the Fissure with the snowball, he might have been able to pick up the kill on the Earthshaker and maybe even get out. Come forward, Echo Slam. Now they got Mind Control. The snowball will only buy him time, it looks like. As he commits to the kill onto Sexy Bambo, but it's not enough. Turn around, Fisher. It actually hits the ledge. Come forward. Matamba Man looks good, though. He's got a Battle Fury. Cleans up one of the heroes. Secondary and third go down. The Aegis now for Pycat, but a Fiend's Grip is there on the side. And there's nothing to stop it. Sexy Bambo, he's already backed out. He's got no real spells to work with. Triple kill from Matamba Man on top of the Aegis takeout.
All right, there are two super surprising things about that fight. The first is, how the hell does he get Snowball off? He gets Blink echoed. That's just a mechanical mistake from Bambo. When you have level 4 Aftershock and you echo, you have plenty of time to cast an Enchant Totem and keep him sunlocked. Instead, he gets to cast the Snowball and Ice Shards, and I think he even got the Walrus Punch off in the end. And then the other thing is, why does Kuro have a Crimson Guard all of a sudden in that fight? I mean, that's really, really good 20 minutes in for the Lich to have this Crimson. Of course, he was 3-1 and 14 before he died in that exchange. And just that little extra tankiness made it harder for them to kill the Tusk, and bought the extra time for Matamba to come in and really clean up.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd. It's a very awkward, like, you wouldn't... It's just such a weird... It's probably like one of those stats, first time Crimson Guard on Lich or something. But when you already have the Tusk who's building into the mech and guarding Greaves eventually, apparently he figures the best option this early on to the game is going to be the Crimson Guard.
I'm wondering why he chose Crimson over Pipe. So Pipe is good against Shaker, is good against Shadow Fiend, and is good against Rubik. The thing about Crimson Guard is when Amplify damage is on and you lose a lot of armor, then damage block is actually still a pretty relevant way of defending yourself that they can't remove. So I'm not sure. I don't feel like it's been the right clicks really that have cost Liquid the few fights they've lost. It's been more that they got caught out.
Shadowblade, but the counter ward is there just in time. Another counter ward. They get to sleep. A Swift Endings here misses the sun this time around. The Snowball does land. Global Silence gets laid up. A Mind Control was still in the Snowball at that point in time. He gets off the Walrus Punch, and he's actually corralling all 4 CNL into the trees on the right-hand side with the Chains combination. Pycat's actually going to go down beyond Godlike from Matamba Man. They're going to press forward. Swift Ending is actually being controlled up a little bit more by the Chains EGM. He'll also get taken out. Fana, oh, Wacko Slam actually comes in. They take it out. Fana, who had so much damage to him. Fiend's Grip, though, is controlling Sexy Bambo. Now they turn around from the Rubik, hitting on him, Matamba Man. They need this kill desperately, but the crush misses. Matamba Man gets the chains off. They're getting away with this one, and he'll come back maybe even for another slide of fist to finish off Sexy Bambo. And the Rubik knows he's probably dead as well. Pops the wand, turns around, goes for Kuro. The damage block, sleep! Oh, the sleep from Jerix actually keeps him alive, and the Rubik's gonna be run down. He just needs vision for the brain sap, and he'll get the Rubik in the end. A wipe there as Team Liquid take utter control of this game. Oh, that was so close to being a kill on Matamba Man, but the control, the crush, I think, missed slightly. He used it just before the Sleight of Fist ended.
I think it might have been stopped in the first animation by Chains, and then he tried to cast it again, or something just went wrong there from Swift Ending. I feel like it's pretty unfortunate. In both games on Slaughter, he has these really great crushes, but there's also a couple of ones that just shouldn't miss. And he is playing such an incredibly important role for his team. It doesn't have to be 3-man crushes every time. Just a 1- or 2-man crush that they can rely on that singles out a target for them to kill makes a very big difference. But full-on whiffs just don't work. But you know, there's always two sides to it. One thing is he misses, the other thing is Matamba Man dodges, right? So who's the better player?
He's got great reactions.
He is super farm.
23.5 minutes in. That's
last
absurd.
game he didn't have the Battle Fury at this point. He's 5K ahead of his net worth last game in this time.
He's sitting at 600 gold per minute.
Yeah. He can... Well, he can't quite one-shot any of the supports, but if they're next to each other and he crits both, he kills both.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad news. Well, decent armor on EGM, I guess. He does have the plate mail. I guess he's building a Lotus Orb. Damn.
And this time around, they've got a great hero for pushing uphill. Yes, they have an Ember Spirit who's holding on to all the net worth, but their Razor is still a great hero to push uphill. He's not actually going for the Aghanim Scepter build. Looks like an SNY. No, well, I guess...
Could be a Manta.
Yeah, Manta because of Global Silence, but I'm just not sure how...
It's pretty meh, isn't it?
Yeah, how important it really is to get rid of silence on a Razor.
Mech for Mind Control is flying out now, so I think they're just going to keep up the aggression. They know how far ahead they are. They obviously can't see the gold graphs, but when you have an Ember that is this farmed, you know things are going your way. 13 kill lead and his ridiculous net worth is more than enough. 4CNL cannot win a team fight unless they catch Matamba Man. It's just not possible at this point. That is the absolutely most important thing that they have to look for, but they blew so many smokes early in the game. I don't think they actually even have one.
Nope, not for another 2 minutes, so...
That's an issue.
ForceCNL are very limited in their responses right now. I guess they just split push until they have that smoke opportunity, because it seems like it's just a straight out fight against Team Liquid.
They need to
It's
make
not
a
gonna
play
be
that
reliable.
transforms into a Roshan with that smoke, I think. It has to come up big. Just finding 1 or 2 kills is not good enough. I don't know if they're going to have the time, though. Liquid are reading this perfectly. They know they're not in their own base, so... Well, let's just lay on the pressure. Oh, now they're getting scared. They shouldn't, but... They don't have the vision now.
He's not actually seen here by ForceCNL. They had a pretty good ward to be able to spot him out, but he only just now shows up after the ward has died, ForceCNL. What could have been a quick pick off in the middle lane. They may have to look for it in bottom lane now. But Team Liquid, I mean, these heroes have been off map for so long.
Let's see what Fata buys. He does have the gold for SNY. Or the ulti for Manta. He's not using his gold. I wonder if he just got a casual Yasha and he goes for something else, like maybe a Scotty.
Scotty, I think BKB would still
BKB's
be
good too.
decent, yeah.
Yeah.
Chain stun of the, like, remove global silence and deal with the chain stuns of the Earthshaker.
I definitely prefer that over Manta here. I think that item on Razor in general is pretty weak. Doesn't really do that much.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like SNY would be the better choice over Manta at the very least.
Yeah.
BKB is finished up now for the SF, so maybe that'll allow things to turn around. Swift ending, though, is still less than halfway to his BKB, and that's pretty essential. Our Silencer, I'm not sure what kill he picked up that he was able to get so much gold, but he's got a plate mail.
I think it's just been a couple of fights in a row where EGM has done a good job just outputting damage, at least getting a lot of assists. He's got 26 intelligence stolen, really goes to show how involved he's been in the game.
Yeah.
So he's been inside the radius for 13 out of their 18 kills, and I think he's died after died before what would have been the last 5. So he's been all over the place. Matoma Man gets caught. This is the big kill they want.
Oh, they need it so badly. The Silence is going to be able to control, and they get the kill. And now trying to get out. The Chain Frost will be able to finish off the Slaughter. Pycat, BKB. Global Silence goes on. He's going to be able to get it off. No, he actually dies. Echo Slam gets laid out, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough damage, especially with the mech now. EGM gets controlled. Sexy Bambo has no escape with that great ice shards, and Fata just barely living. Sexy Bambo, I think he really wants to go for Fata here. He's going to try and run him down with the next Fissure, but you could see Fata's running all the way to the right-hand side of the map just to make sure he does not get caught by that.
Is he going to try for this one in mind control? No. This is starting to remind me that it's a little reminiscent of the last game Silencer from Kuroki. Again, this is really difficult. I guess the very hard part of Silencer is assessing when exactly you need to let your global go. That global goes out immediately after Fiend Script. They might even win the fight. Instead of losing it 3-1, they get a Requiem off, and then all of a sudden this Echo Slam, instead of bringing 3 heroes low, it kills 3 heroes. Like, these split seconds,
oh yeah, he just needed
fractions of seconds make
half a
such a big difference right now. And you just have to be faster on the Silencer. It's the natural response. This is a part of why they picked the hero, is to stop grip. So the moment Pycat gets gripped, he needs to instantly call for global, and it just needs to sit there. Boom.
Does grip remove, does Lotus Orb remove grip?
I don't think it
does.
should, because it's not a strong purge.
Yeah.
It's a weak purge. It's like Diffusal Blade, right? I think only Aphotic Shield is the only thing in the game that can purge.
Yeah, but you can remove sleep. It has some interesting applications against the Snowball, because you can do it after the Snowball goes, and once the Snowball hits, you get that counter Snowball in. So that has some interesting applications, though it can also go really disastrously bad.
Yeah.
Since you can't actually control when the Snowball goes.
In a way, it's weird that it doesn't work so that when you cast Snowball on you, you Snowball yourself, and you just roll toward each other.
Yeah,
but
it is. Yeah, you would think that would be...
I actually
like
don't know why it doesn't work that way. Yeah, it would be a long-range duel.
Just meet in the
that would be
middle.
really cool, actually. But anyway, for CL, they did get that kill. They lost 3, and funnily enough, that keeps the gold even. That 1 kill on Matoma Man was worth as much as 3 of their heroes were, 2 of which were cores. That's how rich he was right there.
Ward and counter ward. They know Roshan is
that's important.
pretty important part of the next game plan for ForceCNL. And with an aggressive ward like that, they may even spot out the...
It's gone.
All right, it's gone now. Did they use their smoke at all? ForceCNL? Yeah.
Yes, they did, I do believe.
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere.
No.
So.
they still have the element of surprise on their side. I think the fact that it's nighttime is an opening for them. And the one thing that does surprise me is when you're this far down, it might not be the most intuitive thing to do, but I think you have to buy a gem. Removing vision so you can get the jump with Slardar is the only way you kill Matoma Man, who, by the way, now is going to
he just
kill the
up for those
Slardar.
creeps, so
Okay. Good
he's
damage.
chains up.
Nice damage, bro. Boom.
And our Slardar is dead.
Jeez, that was without the DD, too. That was an 800 crit. He got lucky on the first hit, let's be real. He got a crit on the first attack. Now, they need to be careful. There is a Shaker, and there is Global, and there's buyback on the Slardar.
Get the right amount of control.
Maybe killed Matumba there.
Yeah. Fada, Jesus. Gotta be careful, EGM. And tier 3 tower, they're gonna glyph it up. Still another 20 seconds. It's worth the buyback if they can get the right kind of initiation. Fisher block off as well as hitting Fada. He pops the BKB now. If they could just get out, they'll be okay, but yeah, and Rubik actually had the Remnant to be able to jump himself away. 10 more seconds until the Slardar's back up. Team Liquid, are they gonna fake back and try and go back in, or it looks like they will fully jump out? Got the tier 3 tower. I think they should be really happy with what they got out of that situation.
This is a good read. It takes quite a bit of discipline to back down there. You know Slardar's still dead for a bit. You got the tower. You feel like, oh, we used to be KP on Razor. Let's get 1 Rax at least. But if they stuck around there, that would have been really bad for them. So great call.
They lose that fight. They know it's going to be Roshan for 4 CNL. Now, it may still be for Roshan for the 4 Clovers. It just depends on whether or not Team Liquid are able to rotate fast enough.
This goes so fast. They can't even get there on time.
The minus armor combination of the SF and the Slardar makes it so easy for them, and then the zoning of the Fisher as well. They're going to go for the Ice Shards block out here and may still force the fight even after their global silence now, but the Chain Frost is already bouncing around, goes up to the creeps. Meanwhile, Swift Ending actually going for Matumba Man, but the Chain Frost is actually staking around. Now it's stolen by Rubik, and it's bouncing onto Team Liquid as well, but they've taken away that Aegis of the SF, and without any help, he's going to die in secondary time. Sexy Bambo is unable to really get an Echo Slam at all. Pycat gets off the BKB. Ultimate goes down. Echo Slam now on the Fada. They get that kill at the very least. Kuro hoping to be able to nuke down 60 Bambo while the SF does get taken out. Ember Spear just barely survives through that one. 60 Bambo may just initiate onto Lich. You know how ballsy he is. He goes for the Fisher, jumps forward, Enchant Totem, slows down Kuro, gets the right click, but the armor makes it too tough. Force Staff over the hill, tries to get out with a TP, but the Ice Shard catches him just beforehand. You knew Sexy Bambo was going to get greedy and go for it, and he dies. Doesn't even claim the Lich kill. Matumba Man stays alive through all of that. Fighting around Roshan seemed to have been the correct choice for Team Liquid. Well played.
Kuro has 26 armor and the Vanguard block part of Crimson Guard. You're not killing that with an Enchant Totem right there.
Yeah. That was such a nasty result, though. The Chain Frost bouncing onto the neutrals, right?
That was really unfortunate.
And then the
for
Rubik, the Rubik was like, okay, I'm good. I'll run back now that it's on the neutrals. I'll run back to the fight, get next to the SF, and right as he does that, the Chain Frost bounces back to him and then hits the SF like 3 times because of it.
They definitely had a little bit of poor fortune there for CL. That could have been very, very different if that doesn't happen. But at the same time, you need to adapt to the circumstances. I think Saksa tunnel visioned a little bit too much. He might have not actually even realized that was happening. A lot of the times when a Chain Frost like that bounces off, you move your screen to where your targets are. So you analyze the situation, where can I cast Chain Frost? And then you don't look at your hero. And all of a sudden, oh shit, I just took like 4 bounces from a Chain Frost. And you end up dying after getting your own off. There was that, and then the other detail I want to point out was to the southeast of the Roche pit. Sexy Bambo wanted to force Blink Echo, and then he got hit by Eye of the Storm. So he essentially, instead of getting a 2-man Echo that would have killed Matumba Man, Fada made the perfect play of just zoning them out to the right, knowing that as long as he isolates Shaker, they can't lose that exchange. Yeah, I mean, even if he does die for it, it's well worth it because he keeps Matumba Man, who the higher net worth hero, alive. Yeah. And it resulted in 2 kills on Shadow Fiend, what Fata did there. So now have the Silver Edge on Pycat. That'll help kind of remove the unstable current, I guess. But it's not really that. I think it's just the efficiency of stats, maybe a little bit more. Matumba Man actually has BKB, but they don't quite get the Sleight of Fist and Chains combo to catch Swift Ending. He blinks himself away just in time, and same applies to our SF who TP's out. Bambo is thinking about a cute play here with the Shadow Amulet. Do they have any gem on the Radiant? They do have one on Jarex, so... Bambo's in a good position, though.
Yeah, even if they do like rotate a hero across, they're very likely to check this alleyway, but maybe not this area down here.
If they use Plasma Field... Oh, the Sigil.
Oh, dear.
That's bad
60
news.
Bambo. They
Is
don't
he
have the
actually
gem, though.
staying there?
Oh, my
How
God.
ice
He's actually going to be
cold
fine.
He's dead.
Now he sees it. All right.
Oh, that is not good. That's a tower.
Yeah. And that could even be Team Liquid pushing uphill, actually.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from. He knows they're far behind, and he has to make a really big play.
Right.
To have the balls to stay there when that Frozen Sigil flies over, he must have not known that Jarek has a gem. Like, else you just can't make that play.
Just imagine if the Sigil didn't come back, though, in timing with the gem.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there, and they just figure, oh, like, oh, we cleared through it with Sigil and everything else, but... All right, so that's going to be a full lane of Rex. For CNL, no, they can't fight it. Not without the Earthshaker.
Fata has a DD.
Oh, wow, you're right. 15 seconds. They're just trying to get a tier 1 middle at the same time, but they can't give away 2. They're going to go straight up to the top lane where that tier 3 tower was taken out earlier. 5 more seconds with the glyph. They will be able to fight around this melee Rax, it seems. Just Bambo might be a little bit late to the fight. Swift ending comes forward. The ice shards not really doing much there. They managed to get the telekinesis. Turn back. They're going to try and pop a Tumble Man. They will be successful. Mind Control's going to be up next with the Echo Slam. Fada managed to get off his BKB, and he's still plenty healthy. But him alone is not going to be enough to win this fight, it seems, as Kuro. He's tanky as all hell, but he can't fight that 160 Bambo. 4 staffs away from Fada, and just buys himself some more time. He's going to be able to get another Fissure, and this looks to be a wipe. They should be able to get Jarex as well. Fada is still trapped in the side with that Fissure. And a full 5-man wipe. Team Liquid get greedy with that double damage, think that they can go for a second lane of Rax. Sexy Bambo comes back up, and Team Liquid, I mean, they just get caught by the right initiation from 4CNL. They caught Matumba Man.
Yeah, the moment the glyph comes out, I think it's back time for Liquid. I didn't think there was a glyph available for 4CNL. That's why I was like, okay, they have enough time to get a second lane. And then the glyph delays it for 5 seconds. That gives Bambo his respawn, allows him to get a Fissure off, catching Matumba Man off guard, and then they just combo him completely. Full stun lock. He never got BKB off. That's 5 kills. That's a pretty big swing. They're still far behind, but it keeps the game alive at least. If Liquid get 1 Rex there and disengage entirely, it's almost impossible for 4CL, but that's a 5 to 6 K gold swing, that one fight. Oh, Saxa with an aggressive ward. I think they saw it, though. They're pinging it out.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They're gonna go. They can't go high ground here. There's no way. No.
That Rubik is actually going to have maybe some sick plays ahead of him with the Aghanims. You've got the weird interaction between the Fiend's Grip and that whole, you know, if you get attacked, sleep. I don't think that's going to do much, but maybe, just maybe, he gets a good Chain Frost. That's really the only thing I can actually see even fights turning to the favor of 4CNL is through that weird infinite bounce.
If you steal... Oh, no, you can't do that anymore. You can't... Oh, you can't steal... No, you can't. Never mind. I'm thinking, what if you steal Walrus Punch? Do you get Walrus Kicks too? But you can't steal Walrus Punch anymore because it's not an active ability. It's an orb attack.
Yeah, if he's you can steal it if he actually clicks on the ability, right? Not if has it right clicked.
I don't think so. You can't steal Viper's poison attack either if he click attacks it.
Yeah.
So I would guess it's not possible to steal.
Yeah, you can be right.
In the past, you would steal Walrus Punch, and then it would say Sucker Punch when you used it on range. That was so good. And then the new interaction actually removed that possibility entirely from the game. It's a little bit of a shame. So yeah, that's the only real scary Aghs upgrade. I guess an Aghs, if he steals Eye of the Storm and they win the fight and they can push, that's pretty cool. But, you know, what are the odds?
Yeah, I just can't see them winning the fight without...
means Fata ends the fight casting Eye of the Storm and then dies instead of Eye of the Storming in and then casting Plasma Field. That's not happening.
Lich actually has a Shivas. Good lord.
Kuro.
He's got 43 armor. I feel like I'm looking at a Visage right now. 72% physical damage resistance.
Yeah, just that he doesn't lose his armor when he gets hit.
Yeah.
There are no layers here. You got to get through the whole package.
And if they get the AC for Fada as well, you know, up that armor game even more. I mean, you're looking at a lot of these heroes don't actually dip anywhere close to the negative marker if they have amplified damage on them.
Do any of them?
Maybe the Bane.
Bane does, yeah.
Yeah, even if he has Chain Frost, he will.
What did he get +9 armor from? Oh, he had Ice armor on.
Yeah, Ice armor.
Man, yeah. Do they have any AoE armor as well on the Radiant? I guess they don't have the Vlads or an AC just yet, but there's probably something coming up.
Razors should be going for it.
This entire game, in my opinion, is now rests in or is on Bamboo's shoulders for 4CL. If he doesn't get a good ult, they can't.
Man. That looks real nasty. Matumba Man has found himself a double damage rune, and he's keeping a remnant nearby it.
Double damage, double Daedalus. Let's go.
Yeah, just one shot the whole entire team.
How high are those crits going to be? 1,400? Wait, he didn't get it.
What? Activated double damage?
He activated it while he was in Fire Remnant, so he lost it immediately. Oops. It's like Storm Spirit. It's the same interaction where if you activate regen while you were Ball Lightning, you wouldn't get the regen out.
How do you activate it while you're in Remnant form if you don't have a bottle, though?
He might have had a Remnant across, and then he picks it up while he's in the air. Yeah. I'm guessing there's no other way that could have happened, I think. So, weird. But doesn't really matter. I don't think they could have used it anyway. Look at 4CL. They're very much hidden in their base, waiting for Pycat to probably double raise this wave and then just go smoke immediately, go for a Hail Mary play where they catch off the enemy team and get a Rosh. It's go time, I think. There we go.
Yeah, because Roshan is up on the Radiant side, Noah too, with Sigil over the cross, but if they don't find anything and then they try and go into Roshan, it's going to be one of those weird scenarios once again. Yeah, Pycat, just in case, he's going to join the rest of his team in case Team Liquid are perhaps smoked up as well with that Sigil.
This is not the kill they want to find. He doesn't have buyback, though. He has a gem. It's a decent kill.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Take it away. The gem will be a big pickup. And the fight, Team Liquid, they're not going to force it.
No buyback?
No
this is Roche, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, they're not getting a better chance than this until the game is over. It's definitely go time. This is all in. The problem with this now is that, well, okay, they're going to let them have it. Because Matumba Man with one good cleave in the Roche pit can kill 3 heroes. Like, so you have to be very careful, but they're respecting 4CL's raw potential of just turning around on them. They also know they just lost a 5-man team fight inside the Dire base. So they know 4CL must have been getting a lot of momentum. Look at these graphs all of a sudden. Man, that is a dip. That's the gold. The experience is way worse for Liquid.
Look at who they put it on. They put the Aegis on Silencer, who's now about to finish up an AC.
Yeah.
They really put that much value in the global silence? I mean, he's both farmed and he has that global silence capability, so...
40 in stolen. His glaives currently hit for 102 pure.
Yeah, and that's without any intelligence items. Like, he went Lotus Orb, and then he went for AC. Like, no extra intelligence there.
It's interesting to see how EGM and Kuro have two seemingly very different approaches to playing Silencer in these two games. Kuro went for one in the Glaives and then maxed Curse.
Yeah.
He just went Glaives to harass in lane, whereas EGM in this game expects that he will be able to output a lot of damage. He gets stats over Curse. So the full right-click build, which we generally only see from carry Silencers, is
or Vanscore.
Or Vanscore.
Yeah,
that's true.
The real 4-position Silencer player. The EGM.
Oh yeah, now you can kill siege creeps with that pretty fast. That's nice.
Oh yeah. It's the little things in life, Cinderin.
Yeah,
it's little things.
That's a pretty minor
as
thing,
a support.
Yeah.
You'll love anything that helps you farm a bit faster. But, the chains doesn't actually hit him. And EGM, he might actually escape. In fact, he's going to turn, pop the Lotus Orb. He has the Aegis. They're going to turn and fight against Matumba Man. He gets off the BKB, though. And now Swift Ending is forced to eat the cheese as he continues to try and chase from Matumba Man. Can't quite get it. The ultimate goes out from Pycat, only hitting a few heroes, but there's still the resistance. They jumped in. Oh, what a great Echo Slam, but they need to be able to follow it up. Matumba Man, he's not going to escape. Pycat gets the right click. Now he's losing his damage. Chain Frost, he's going to come out from Zarsa, and that was not going to stop anytime through. Snowball through. Pycat, he may be going down here. No, that Chain Frost helps him out. Jerix, he needs to kill. Brain Sep's coming up in a second. Somebody stop this madman. He's going for Pycat, but he gets the Brain Sep. Now the Fiend Script turned around, and he's got the Lich coming in too. That'll be a wipe. Forcing to lose it, but Team Liquid at the same time only have their supports up. What can they really do as only 2 supports?
They can force one buyback. I think they're definitely going to do that here. There's no reason not to. I'm guessing the Shaker will buy back, and they'll just try to hold this with Fissure and Enchant Totem maybe on core. No, they're buying back the Rubik. I don't think this is enough.
Yeah, but maybe he can just be enough of a threat.
Wait, what, Jerix?
I don't know.
Okay. Stall points?
I guess so.
Nightmaring himself, taking it off and running away. Oh, he wanted to make sure he didn't. He wanted to make sure he didn't steal grip.
Oh, yeah, good point.
But yeah, well, if Saxa was porting in and then Blink steals, that would have been worth the buyback, actually.
It's also
That's the kind of thing that can change the game.
It's also the slight bend over animation of the Bane when he sleeps himself. He was facing away from the enemy base, so he's leaned over.
Thank you for the buyback, and then leaves.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right.
It's manners. I'm sure that's why he did it, showing respect for the opponent, taking a bow.
All right, Slardar. Wait, what? Is this? No, this is actually. I thought I was going a little crazy here. I was like, this is an AC. He has a plate mail. He has a Hyperstone, but our Slardar, I guess, is. What is he going? Mjolnir? Moonshard?
I don't know. I think it's just miscommunication, or that they got an unexpected amount of gold on the silencer and then they had to use it for something. I don't blame EGM, though. I think buying this AC now is really important. And now we're back to last game where I said they need a Vlad's, and guess what? They need a Vlad's. And I think the Slardar should actually sell his Bracer and buy one at this point and get something useful for the team. Oh, that's a...
Yeah, free pick off on the Rubik, and they know he does not have buyback. So for CNL, or rather Team Liquid, can force the 4 versus 5 over the next minute. And last team fight, I mean, they won it, and that involved Cheese and an Aegis. This time around, it's going to be a 4 versus 5, no extra lives.
Man, the crit sound in Dota 2 is so satisfying. When you use the Sleight of Fist like that and you get 4 or 5
Swift
in a row.
Ending is going to go for the Echo Slam, comboed up, Matoma Man, they're going to go for him while he's almost silenced up, but he's too tanky. He's going to pop the BKB, turn around, get the Sleight of Fist, Swift Ending goes down, and now the counter snowball coming out from that Lotus Orb. Pycat pops the BKB, gets off the ultimate, but now Fiend's gripped up, and EGM can do nothing but watch as he's slept away. Fisher hits on 3, but they don't have their damage dealer in the Slardar. They do have a buyback on Pycat, but it's half the souls. I don't really see how they could force this one. They're going to go for it. Sleep, Sexy Bamboo. Going to go for the snowball on him. Lotus Orb will actually be able to buy him some time. The safety snowball comes out. And he's going to be in a good position to combo this one potentially with the Fisher. No, he force taps himself away. He's just trying to get out, but he'll die. Combination of the Sleight of Fist as well as the Ice Shards gets him in the end. It's a second laner Rax. Rubik only just now coming up. And Team Liquid can go full out. But it doesn't even need it. 4CNL admit defeat. GG and Team Liquid take the 2-game series 2-0.
Yeah, that was very solid from them. I think 4CNL, you have to go for that as Shaker. That opening is definitely good enough, but he didn't have enough backup. It's him and the Slardar that can jump in, but they can't help him out with the Shadow Fiend, who has no mobility item to get into the fight and do the damage very quickly. They end up being able to keep Matumba Man alive. Obviously, once again, all the armor and just the defensive items on the Radiant really helping Matumba Man out with staying alive. So Liquid, I think, overall looked a little bit better in both games. I don't think they looked dominant in either. So either these two teams are pretty close, or it was... I don't feel like it was the drafts either. I think the drafts were close. I think the plays were pretty close. So if I'm 4CNL, I don't give up hope just yet on getting to top 2. But if I'm Liquid, I'm obviously looking very, very good right now.
Yeah, I personally felt like Team Liquid was easily the best of the newer teams, especially in this qualifier. I was looking at them as being, one. But 4CNL, for me, was one of the strongest contesters in their group. And it seems like they aren't quite strong enough to be able to take it, but maybe they can get that second place. But well done by Team Liquid. And see what our analysts have to say. Shiva and the boys are ready to break down this series for you.
Yeah, we got ourselves a 3 points on the board for Team Liquid. Very well played for them. As said, though, not as dominant as people were expecting them to be. Do you feel like that was 4Clovers just playing really well, or maybe Liquid not really living up to their expectations, perhaps?
I feel like Team Liquid played a lot better that game than the previous. This game looked like maybe not a one-sided game. There were some times where 4Clovers came back, but I feel like the individual performances from Kuroki and Matumba Man were just amazing in that game. Especially like that 13-minute Crimson Guard on Lich. There was a period in the mid-game where they tried to focus Lich, and they were like, okay, he's actually not dying anymore. Well, we'll have to leave him for last now. And it made such a big impact on the game.
I feel that Slardar has a problem when you run him as a safe lane because you put so much pressure on your mid to kind of give out the damage. And Shadow Fiend's a high damage core, but as the game dragged on, you saw Rubik wasn't providing any damage. The Shaker did some, but that was kind of if he hit the Echo, right? Once he had that burst, that was kind of it. The other support was...
EGM? Silencer?
Silencer, which he tried to do damage, but he wasn't tanky enough, even with the Assault and the Aegis in one of those fights. So I feel like In the past, when we see Slaughter having some success, it's generally in the off lane.
I think he's okay as a carry, but you have to continue winning and getting kills.
Well,
like, once you get behind, you're in a bad spot. I also think he's really bad against Ember and any other heroes that have very spammable disables, because as soon as he sleight of chains and fists you, or Searing Chains you, you can't move for 3 seconds, and you're usually taking bonus damage, and then it just makes your hero suck. If you can initiate and they can't just like continue to slow you, it's like against slow heavy targets or lots of weak disable heroes, he's just a weak hero because he's just going to get killed after he initiates.
Staying ahead is an important point, because when you're behind, you're initiating and you're dying. Like, you become a suicidal initiator as a 1-row, and that just doesn't bode well. What do you thought?
Well, I don't think 4CL should get too down on themselves, honestly, because they did a pretty good job coming back. There was that one team fight up near that top lane.
They got 5 kills.
Yeah, exactly. They 5-man wiped them, and it looked like they were right back into it. But, you know, it was too little too late. Like you said, the Silencer was trying to pump out damage, but he just couldn't quite get there, even with the Assault Cuirass. I mean, they were trying to make plays. There were some good Echo Slams coming in as well. Slaughter was a bit too far behind. I think that was the big point that you guys touched on already. And with Man just went ham. He had 2 Datalists at the end of the game. He had a Battle Fury, obviously. I mean, he was really farmed from the get-go, and the Lich as well. I mean, everybody pretty much on the side of Liquid were just ready to go, and they were in a good spot. So it's not the worst thing for 4CL. I don't think they should take this too harshly. It's only the beginning of the the tournament, so we'll see how they come back in the next couple of games.
We will indeed. And talking about the next couple of games, just a quick announcement, because we have listened to your feedback. So there will be an extra stream set up actually at the Good Studio, run on the Moonduck TV, Twitch TV channel. So make sure you check that out. We're going to make sure that we cover both of the European games running at the same time. That means for us...
We did it, Reddit.
We did it, Reddit. That means for us, we're going to soon continue with our next match. But before we do that, let's take a look at the standings and see how the teams are looking right now. We have some more games played, and as seen, Team Liquid has won.
It's basically just the...
Basically not one.
Yeah.
So it's not updated at all. I don't have any of the Alliance results.
It actually says 2, but I can.
Alliance has won.
Alliance
has won 1 series. I don't know if they're playing. They're still playing right now. I believe against Empire. I don't know if they won the first game or not, though.
This is just the data for the matches we've watched.
Yeah, this is just the data for the matches that we've watched. So the other games are not updated just yet. So keep that in mind. But we will continue soon with our next match. We're going to see Ninjas in Pajamas, and they're going to take on the Open Qualifier team for the second Open Qualifier, which was No Logic Gaming. So for that match, we'll be right back after this commercial break.